What lessons have been learned from events such as the Sony, Target, and Home Depot security breaches?
There's an upside and downside. People are viewing cybersecurity as certainly something to take care of, but also to see how they can be used as an advantage to the company's products. So clearly, the lessons that have been learned through these companies who had some breaches have impacted other companies in proactively managing their programs, both internally and externally. So clearly, there's been a lot of attention given to the cybersecurity space, and it is going to continue to increase, both from the privacy and security standpoint.
I would say that the breaches, when they occur, when they're that large, when they have that big of an impact, makes boards of directors and makes internal audit chiefs, really sit up, take notice, and use these as opportunities to get the support throughout the organization that they need to make sure that cybersecurity risks are appropriately mitigated.
If any lesson from my company in particular is clearly now the conclusion is it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And it's an important realization because obviously it helps everybody to refocus their attention or rebalance their attention to various aspects of how you manage such risks. A lot of focus was probably a lot on preventing. Can you really prevent something like this? Maybe yes, maybe not, but was enough attention put on how do you deal when it happens? I think this was probably one of the biggest lessons learned for us.
How have these incidents affected your audit plan and your audit focus?
The audit has been focused in two ways in most of the companies that I work with. More as management is putting together a program in place and a consultative role of making sure that the risk is being mitigated appropriately, as well as coming at the back end and seeing how those controls are that management has put in place are being impacted. So for the companies that I work with, cybersecurity has been on the audit plan for last year or so, and then I see that it'll continue on the audit plan for the next few years. The scope of what is being done may vary depending on each of these years.
It's clearly an enterprise-wide risk. It's not an IT risk, and I think some of the focus has changed there. And clearly, as you said, we're looking at not only how can you prevent, but how can you detect, and then how can you make sure you have a plan in place and quickly recover? What are the steps that need to be taken in the event of when something, not if something occurs? I think that's where most of the focus has become.
This types of risks has forced us to really think differently and to audit differently, to almost invent new ways of being on top of a risk that is developing on a daily basis. We're almost auditing cybersecurity every day. Sounds weird. How do you do that? Do you have an army of people? No. We obviously have found ways of trying to be smart and efficient about it, but it's a top of mind, constantly, all the time, and it's a discussion that now we can have at every audit committee, at every executive committee. There's always something that is happening that we are doing that is touching on the topic. So that's probably been the major change on our approach.